Hello folks and welcome to TechIdent. My name is Shattoki Bhattacharjee. So this is your sixth video for the series on Java programming. In this video we'll be covering the second part of control statements. So the second part of control statements is actually iteration. What is iteration? You'll be wondering. You take a statement and you want to execute the statements over and over, the same kind of statements. You can have one statement or you can have several statements. You want to execute that over and over. So for that, iteration will come into use. When you're a kid, your teacher must have punished you with like writing 100 lines as a punishment that I will do my homework every day. You have written that, right? Don't laugh at yourself. Yeah, you've written that. So how can you do that? You write 100 lines of code, the same thing over and over. That stops boring, right? So you have to do something cool with that. So for that, this iteration comes in. Iteration are basically called loops. You may heard of that term in daily life if you are aware of any programming languages. So we'll be covering loops in this tutorial. So first we'll be coming to for loop. Say suppose I take a variable. Say my variable name is say value. Say just for starters, I'll declare a variable. There are actually three kinds of iteration. I can say loops too. The first one is for loop, the second one is while loop, and the third one is do while loop. I'll go one by one. So first, coming to for loop. What are for loops? For loops are basically the same as loops. They can execute one statement over and over. I'll show you the basic syntax for that. First, you're gonna write for, that is for, give a bracket, and now is your tricky part. First you have to declare a variable, the counter variable, which will actually take all the values. So let's say that variable is called int I equal to 0, and this is your initialization part. You have to initialize a variable. This is your variable with which you will loop the entire part. You'll get that later. So you'll now give a condition. This condition will specify when your loop will end. Let's say I is less than 10. Sounds good. Then we'll give the updation part. You can say I plus plus. Well, just hang with me. I'll show you all the steps in details. You can say something like, you can print something like system dot out dot print ln. You can write something like the value is now. So I'm gonna join the strings with plus. You know how to concatenate in Java. You can write here, say val minus minus. Well, what are we doing actually? Well, we are taking a for loop. We are first initializing the value of I. You can name this variable anything you want. I have named this I, doesn't matter. You can name this J, K, L, A, B, C, D, your name, anything, don't matter. So I'm gonna just print the value of val, and I'm gonna decrease the value every time we are looping. So let's first save the file and open up CMD so that we can test our file. Just type in JAVAC Java C LOOPS loops dot java and hit enter. Your file is compiling right now, and after it has compiled, it will show some output, but it's taking so much time. I'm getting impatient now. Come on, compiler, come on, hurry up. So the compiler is taking, yeah, it's compiled. So the compilation is done. Now your class file is generated, and you can run that using Java loops and hit enter. See, I'm declaring a for loop by stating for and give a bracket. For has got three conditions. You have to mention these three conditions explicitly. This is called initialization part. This is called the condition part, and this is called the updation part. Updation can be increment, decrement, both. That's just updation. Okay, first I'm declaring the variable I to 0. Okay, good. So it will go first when it's entered the for loop. It will just initialize the variable to 0. It checks the condition, that is the variable less than 10. It's less than 10. Good. Then it's gonna come down. It's gonna print the statement. The value is now something val minus minus. So val is now 10. So it's printing 10. It's a post decrement operator. No, first you could put the value, then you're gonna decrement the sign. So you know how that works. So you're gonna decrement the value. So I is now 0, At 0 the value is 10. It's printing 10. Good. Now it's going back to the for loop. It will not go to this declaration part again. First the value will go to updation. It will update the value of I to 1. After that it will check if I is less than 10. Yeah, it's less than 10. So it will print val minus minus again. So it will print 9. And it's going to decrease its value again. So like that's working, up to 1, because it's less than 10, so it will print 10 times, because 0 to less than 10 is 9, so 0 to 9 is basically 10. You get that right. So this is how for loop works. The next will be coming to while loop. Well, let's do one thing for our convenience sake. Let's leave that here and just, we can do that. Just declare the variable of I to 0 right here. It will make sense afterwards. So then you're gonna say while. First you're gonna comment this one because this is not needed right now. You learned for loop, you're happy for that. Let's comment this out. Let's go for while loop. While loop is basically the same thing. You write while, give a bracket. Its format is slightly different than for loop. First, in while loop, in the brackets you just have to give your condition. My condition is I less than 10, nothing else. Then you're gonna give brackets. After that I'm gonna copy this thing. Who will type everything? I'm gonna paste it right here, and after I paste it, see, it checks the condition, it prints the thing, and now here you're gonna increment your value. The thing which I've done in the for loop, here the while loop takes it inside the brackets. So this is your condition in while loop, this is your increment. So basically the work will be same. Just save your file. You can run your file once again. Just open up CMD from here. Run Java. It's already done. I learned Java C loops.java. Hit enter. Okay, it's compiled. Now I'll run the thing by Java loops. Yeah. See, it's the same thing. 10, 9, 8, 7, blah 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 blah. So that's the same thing as while loop. While loop does the same thing. Just the format is different. Next I'll be coming to do while loop. First I'll be expanding my command section because these two are done. For do while loop it's a bit of a different, it's a bit tricky. For do while loop, first you have to write do, give a bracket. You have to mention your statements right here. I have to copy this stuff, copy, and I have to paste it right in here. Paste. And after you pasted this, you can increment as usual like I++, and here right at the end you have to declare your condition like while I is less than 10. You get that right. Give a semicolon at the end, that's important. See, for do while loop it will work slightly different. I can do one thing. I can do like, let's say it's less than, I can say this is 10. Now see what happens. See, I is 10, but the condition is given I should be less than 10. The condition don't approve. Let's see what happens now. We'll run the file now and see what happens. Java C loops.java, compiled, run. See, the value is now 10. The thing is that in do while loop the statements will run at least once, because the condition is given at the end. The controller will go down here, it will say do, so it's a loop. It will go down, it will run this thing. The value is now whatever statements you've written. It will increment your variable. After that it will check the condition. It doesn't satisfy, it will go out. But first it will run the statements once, no matter what. So that's all for the loops tutorial. So if you like my video, please click on the red button below. So thank you so much for watching.